Hello guys, today I'm going to show you how you can use ADO.NET to call an API and perform the patch operation. So far we have learned that how to use the post, get, put, and this is the patch. Okay, so patch, as we all know that it's for performing operation on single records or single values. That's how we are going to observe and we are going to check that. Okay. So without delaying much more time, I can show you my action result here and the output. We will be performing this. This is the output, and we will be performing the patch. Okay. Um, Before we move forward, a little bit of explanation on how things work. Okay, so http patch. That's name of uh, uh, the name above action filter. So what does patch in API mean? It's a JSON patch. Okay, so JSON patch is a method of updating documents on an API in a very explicit way. It's essentially a contract to describe exactly how you want to modify a document. For example, you want to replace the value in a field with another value without having to send along the rest of the unchanged values, which means we want to change a single column value without sending the updated data or the same data uh, for the entire columns to the database again, unlike an HTTP put. So operation types. What are the operation types? This is the syntax basically. What does the JSON patch request look like? So this is what a JSON patch request. This is the request, which looks like it has a path, which means the column name, the OP, which means the operation type, whether um, it's a replace or it's a copy or it's a remove, that kind of operation. And value is what's the new value that you want to modify with. And on the URL we would pass the ID that's in the URL. Okay, so in the action method, how would we define that? In the action method, we would have it as the route. In the route we would mention the action method name there, or whatever name we want to put there. Mark it as the http patch, and in the action result we pass in the int id or the id columns value. Then in from body we pass JSON patch documents, and in angle brackets the class name, that's the table's name, and a variable patch doc, and then we use that up. Okay, so moving ahead, what kind of options we might come across? So here are the uh, different options that we might perform. That's add, remove, replace, copy, move, and test. Okay. Without wasting a time, let's move ahead to our program and let's perform the operations. So as we see that we have our API running here, it's asking for an ID. Let's have a look at the database. Okay, while we look at our database, so we see that we have, let's try to, we have these IDs, the name, the age, and address. Okay, so let's try to modify 1002. I'll pass 1002 in the address. Operation type, we don't need that. Path is the name of the column that I want to change. So let's say I want to change his age, Neelam's age. Okay, let's see. Age. Operation type is replace. From we don't need. So let's make it 30. And this is an integer value. Let's send this. Okay, if we hit the action method, let's see what's there in the patch doc. Okay, so you can see that there are, you can pass multiple data using the patch doc. Okay, so here on the 0th value, it's passing OP as replace operation type. See, replace. Path is the name of the column. Value is 30. From we don't need, so okay, let's see. Move ahead. So here we are using ADO.NET. So just a query with patch.operations 0.value. You can pass multiple values, so you can update multiple columns using the patch doc, and this is why you set the operation array values. Okay. Moving ahead, we will execute it, and we hit the record updated, connection string closed, and then we end up. Okay. So record has been updated. Okay, let's see. Oops, I'm sorry. It changed the address. Okay, that was set to change the address where ID. Oh, okay. So it changed the address. Okay. We can pass it one more time. Let's say we want to change it back, whatever it was. But yeah, it was Africa. So instead of doing it here, let's do it with the postman. Okay. Let's take this thing. I think it's already there. Go to the headers. It's all good. In the body, we need to mention that. Huh. From. I don't need the from. Uh, okay. We're passing the address. I'm sorry about that. On the previous one, we marked it as the age, but we are performing an ADO operation, so it's whatever is passed here. So that thing would work in case of entity framework, but here, as I can do one thing here, set address equals to, instead of doing this one, I can put in directly the patch docs value. So if I want to, give me a few seconds here. Okay, guys, so made some changes and want to run it once again. So let's run it from Postman, and I'm passing the address in the path and the value as Africa. Let's see. Let's hit our action method. See what changes I did. Set patchdoc.operations.path equals to patchdoc.operations.value. Let's see what the query is generated here. If we look at the CMD, it reads set address and it has a slash. Oh, didn't mean to have that slash. That's going to throw an error. Now let's have a look at the command string. Set address equals to Africa, where ID equals to 1002. Hope this one will work. Record updated. Let's go back to our database and check that. Perfect. Okay, guys. So this is how the replace thing worked. Now, if you want to do something else, you can pass. Though it's ADO.NET, not many of the things are working. I mean, it's completely based on whatever query we pass from the um, it's completely dependent on the query, whatever query you are passing here. So that will work accordingly. So just wanted to let you know like how this thing works in case of patch, and how you can send in multiple column values as well. So this one is like operation zero. So if you want to do much something more, so you can also pass like this. Wait, I will do another. I think with a complete array that will go as an array too. See, that was address, and this, let's see, what, still not taking. Okay, let's say age. It's replaced to 30. Let's see what we get here. Operation has got two counts. Okay, now here you can pass in a for each loop and you can do operations on each column values. Okay, now you can see that we have got uh, two data to replace. So one is replace the address, the other one is replace the age. Okay, so we can pass in a for each loop for executing the query. Okay, and we can change the cmd accordingly, and uh, that will update the rows by row wise. Okay, so that's all I wanted to let you know. um, yep, so that is all for this video. I hope you understood how we use the patch section here, and it did change our database. um, so that's it for now. Until next videos, I'm sorry, let's have a little bit of break. Okay, so people who are watching this for the first time, let me just tell you that this is in continuation to the previous one. We did some setups like in app settings. If you want to have a look, we mentioned the connection string in the app settings. Then oh, so this is my connection string. Then we have a model class here. That's the table columns. Then we have the controller section here with various uh, type of operations, get, post, put, and this is the patch. And we have the program.cs written up like this. Nothing, no, not much of changes, only the options.serializer to serialize and deserialize the JSON data. Then we have the NuGet packages that is required to perform these operations. So these are the NuGet packages that you need to install, and then your application should be good. Okay, while mentioning one more thing I missed, if this is an API controller, not a normal controller. This is an API controller, and it's inheriting from the controller class, not the controller base. So that was a quick recap of what we did. And stay tuned, stay connected. Until then, happy coding. Thank you.